Shalom. Let me give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Okay, double honors to the elders, bishops, and apostles, the true prophets that rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect of the children of Israel. People of Negro, Latino, Native Americans, Seminole Indian descent, Israelite foreigners as well, who live amongst the heathen nations, but are Israelites through their father's side. Again, peace and shalom. Okay. Trying to choose a scripture to use first here. Got some good audio for you to listen to, showing you that these Edomites are beginning to crash out, and I mean crash out bad, because you want to talk about confusion and madness. This is what these people are. This is part of their reward. All right. But like I said, this audio is actually kind of beautiful to listen to, man. It should help you in your faith and uplift your spirits. Especially in these trying times. The year of 2026. But the elect going to continue on and finish the journey. Finish the work until the end. Especially if you want to be given power over these goddamn heathens. All right. So I have a couple of scriptures in mind. Actually, quite a few. Yeah. But let me try to see which one these for. Like I said, there's quite a few. And as far as speaking of an insurrection and speaking about the Egyptians against the Egyptians, this is where all this is headed. All right, so here's the video here. Just listen. It's just mainly audio. The video really isn't nothing. It's like I said, it's just the audio. Just listen.
Single American that keeps saying, by law, they were required. By law, by law, by law. They were supposed to do this by law. They broke the law. The law doesn't fucking exist. The law doesn't fucking exist in America, everybody. Every single member of the government is a criminal. And we keep expecting the criminals to hold the other criminals accountable.
And this is how it's always been. This isn't something new. It has always been this way. It's just now getting to the point where, it's the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that's just bringing these things that were in darkness, bringing them to light. But it's always been this way. Again, as he said, as far, the man in charge isn't bringing, no justice. Because there's not going to be any. But I know I roughly quoted the guy, but here, let it play again.
Fucking exist in America, everybody. Every single member of the government is a criminal. And we keep expecting the criminals to hold the other criminals accountable. When the fucking dictator in charge can ignore the courts, law doesn't exist. When every system of checks and balances we had fails because nobody's being held accountable, law doesn't exist. Stop screaming about what is legally required. Nobody fucking cares. The only way this stops is if the people listen to the Constitution and overthrow tyranny. Revolution!
There you go.
People listen to the Constitution and overthrow tyranny. Revolution!
So how long do you think these people are going to continue on screaming on the top of their lungs, crashing out, and before they take action, man? And personally, just using my spiritual eyes, it might come whenever Esau make his move on whatever false flag attack he's planning, or whatever Black Swan event, or whatever catastrophic event that's going to take place that this devil is planning. That might be these the other side, these other Edomites when they're gonna make their move. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. So going to the scriptures here, like I said, there's a lot of them, man. Second Ezra 15:15. It says this: for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And that's why they're crashing out. Like the scripture says, calamity shall come upon thee, and ye shall not know from whence it cometh. Um, Mischief shall come upon thee. You see, the scripture says that they don't know what to do. These people are lost, man, as they should be. Because they've always trusted in this wicked, lawless system in society and people. So why now? why stand up now? But these things is coming upon them now because Esau is the end of the world. They're on their way out. All right, so for the sword and their destruction, it's the Edomites, the people that are in charge, that are on top, and all those that supported it. It's the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. It says, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. The modern day sword is the many different forms of guns, knives. These Edomites they're gonna come with it, man. And they've been stockpiling arms and guns for years now. And as a matter of fact, I just read the other day how gun sales has increased again. Let me see if I can find that search here. Yeah, because that's what all they trust in. That's all they know. Hope I spelled it right. Okay, gun sales in the U.S. 2020 statistics. Let's take a quick look at this real quick. Okay, OUS carry. Let's tracking gun sales through the decades, trends, peaks, and patterns. I just want a quick one of those graphs that that show those things. I can just get straight to the point. It's not giving us here. Gun sales in the millions, 3.5. That's back in the 80s, 4.3. 5 million. Come on, 2023. Ooh, look at that. See how? Let's go to 07. 07. I'll pick 07. That's when the apostles, starting with Apostle Tahar, decided to go on YouTube and woke us up. That's why I always call it a great awakening. It's a blessing to be a part of that great awakening. But as time went on, it increased. That's those labor pains. That's a sign of those labor pains. So it stops at 2023 there. See, this is all they know, man. This is all they know. An estimated, that's 2024. In the first 4 months of 2025, in the first 4 months, 5.2. Okay, 2026. That's what I want. Looks like it's not going to work. As you can see, it's still high as hell. Double digits. Damn, that's doing that paying thing. 60 million of them. Americans bought over 1 million guns every month, 59 in a row. That's madness. A lot of these gun stores are getting rich, man. They're making some money. They're making some serious money. Somebody would have made some cheddar, investing in the stock market on it. But it's not really going to give us anything as far as I can You know what? So far, and what we're in the third month so far. In 2026, gun sales are expected to see a slight increase, particularly in the suppressor market, following an elimination of the $200 federal tax stamp for purchasing suppressors in certain firearms. Okay, okay, okay. So it's increasing. Not really giving you no. Like I said, this is only the third month in, and these are Christians. You have to understand that a lot of them are Christians, man. Atheists, Satanists, all of them are, all of them, but the mass majority of them are pretty much, I say the mass majority, all of them are anti-Mashiachs, anti-Messiahs, man. But but the majority of them, they call themselves Christians. So that shows you they have not the truth. Of course. Let me finish reading that scripture here. You stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Like I said, the modern day sword are the guns that they have. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. So they planning on, a lot of them are really planning on fighting, and coming up against their government that they elected and they've always supported through their life at one point or another. But they don't realize that eventually they're going to turn them guns against each other to eat, to eat, to drink. That's where it's all going. That's where it's all going. The Egyptian against the Egyptian. They have no idea why. They would know these things if they listened to the prophets. They would know these things. And the prophets would simply just show them in the scriptures that, hey, this is what's going on. Your local blonde-haired, blue-eyed pastors has not warned you of the times that are to come, the dangers that are coming, man. So in all reality, though the Lord's not dealing with them anyway, they're religious leaders and pastors and reverends and all of them are them, but a bunch of dumb dogs anyway. They're worthless dogs anyway. I'm gonna listen to this again. I like listening to it. So there's so many scriptures on this, and I'm not going into it all. It's not even necessary. Just showing you that these devils, they in that spirit of war, man. Or they're trying to wake their brethren up in that spirit of war.
Listen, and balances we had fails because nobody's being held accountable.
No one.
Law doesn't exist. Stop screaming about what is legally required. Nobody fucking cares. The only way this stops is if the people listen to the Constitution and overthrow tyranny. Revolution!
Beautiful. That's beautiful, man. So stay prayed up. Continue on your watch. Continue on working, and continue on giving all praise, honor, and glory to our power. Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rakakadash. The water. Shalom.